All right, happy Tuesday, everyone. I cannot say it is Victory Tuesday because the Green Bay Packers did not win last night. I had them for my week 5 picks, wrapping them up. That puts me at 8-6 on the week. That puts me at 51-27 over the entire season. That puts me just a hair below 66%, probably about 64.5%, maybe. I'm not 100% on the math there, but um, this Monday night game, it was at times it was hard to watch, and it's been more of the same. So the offense never really gained much consistency. It never really gained much rhythm, and that's something I've been saying week in and week out that excuse me, that's what they need to do. I have I have criticized Matt LaFleur's play calling because it doesn't look like he is. I mean, it almost seems like he's just calling random plays all game long. It's like he's playing Madden and there's no rhyme or reason to the plays that he's calling. Uh, it it really makes me think that the only reason this offense was good in 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021, and really 2020 and 2021 is what I'm more speaking of. And it seems like the only reason the offense was good those years was Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett. It seems like because last year the offense wasn't great. I know we had young receivers and we lost Devontae, but I mean Rodgers still had a decent year last year, and Love is on pace to have nowhere near that kind of year. And it seems like last year Nathaniel Hackett was gone, so the offense seems like it took a step back last year. Plus the young talent. This year you got a young quarterback and young talent, so it's taken another step back. So it's just not good. And what's worse is Green Bay had 10 days to get ready for this. 11 days. They played a week and a half ago on Thursday. I mean, it had been 11 days since they had played, and they come into this game and really didn't look good. Outside of the one catch, the long pass to Christian Watson, the offense really didn't have any explosive plays. Didn't really. I mean, it seemed like. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a drive or two where they moved the ball pretty well, efficiently. Got some good completion to some tight ends, some good running plays with Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones did not play last night with the hamstring issue he got week one. He didn't play last night. More of a conservative, uh, inactive with us going into a bye week this week. So coming out of the bye, he is 100%. So the offense had a couple drives, or a drive at least, where it looked good, and that's that's what I've said all year. They've had quarters. Week one against Chicago, they had two quarters where they looked good, two where they didn't. Week two against Atlanta, same thing. They had some times where they looked good, times when they looked bad, like just couldn't get anything. Week three against New Orleans, other than the fourth quarter, they didn't do anything. Detroit, same thing. They had a drive or two where they looked okay. The rest of the time, they didn't. And last night continued that trend. And it's hard to blame Jordan Love for this because he's in his sixth career start. He's a first year starter. Yes, he's been in the league. This is his fourth year in the league, but I mean, essentially, this is his seventh game that he's played meaningful time in. I mean, he's only started 6 games. He's this first time he's consistently started, so it's hard to it's hard to blame him. He does need to play better, but the coaching and the play calling has not set him up for success so far this season. And that's the point I'm getting at. He did throw 3 interceptions last night. One I won't really say is completely his fault. It was batted. it knocked out of the receiver's hands, batted at the point of the catch, and it was a tip drill interception, but still an interception. I know, we talked about Mahomes had one of those week one, Dak had one Sunday night. Not necessarily those guys' fault, but it's still an interception on their stat sheet. And I will say I'm less concerned because I've talked about Dak's interceptions multiple times. I'm less concerned with Jordan Love's interceptions than Dak's because of the aforementioned. This is his sixth start of his career, he's a first year starter, whereas Dak is a 7-year starter. So Dak throwing 3 interceptions is much more alarming to me than Jordan Love throwing 3 interceptions. Neither one of them are good. No one is trying to say that. Like, I'm definitely not trying to say, oh, it's okay that he threw 3 interceptions. Definitely not. That's why we lost the game. We lost a 4-point game and we were -2 on the turnover differential. Raiders had 1, we had 3, so we were -2. That's absolutely why we lost. 100%. The defense did not play bad. They could have played better, but they did not play bad. And for the most part, the defense kept us in the game. After 1 turnover, they got a 3-and-out and got us the ball right back. The other turnover was the third interception was right at the end of the game, and they kneeled the ball after that. And let me pull up the second interception and see what the Raiders did off of that. So the first interception, Raiders kicked a field goal. They gained -1 yard on the possession, kicked a field goal. The second interception, it was a 3-and-out, -3 yards. And then the last one was into the game. So they did get a touchdown off our field goal off 1 interception. We got a touchdown off of their 1 interception. But, you know, any points on those 2 drives could have made a difference in the game. So yardage wise, we outgained them by 6 yards, 279 to 285. It was a really even game offensively, minus the turnovers. And I guess you could say defensively as well. They had 19 first downs. We had 18. They had 13 passing. We had 7. They had 6 rushing first downs. We had 9. We had 2 by penalty. We were 4-12 on third down. They were 5 of 13. Both teams were 1 for 1 on fourth down. They ran 64 plays. We ran 57. Yards per play was 5 for us, 4.5 for them. They had about close to a 10-yard edge on passing yards. We had about a 10-yard edge on rushing yards. Penalties, 3 for 18 yards for Green Bay, 4 for 28 for the Raiders. So, like I said, the 2 most frustrating things for me about this game was, 1, the play calling, and it's been the same issue all year. And defensively, I will say Joe Barry's defense played better. I think they come into this game with a little bit better game plan, and I'm not so sure if this was more of the Raiders' lack of using Josh Jacobs properly this year, or Green Bay's run defense actually, somewhatly improved from where it was. But we held them decently in the running game, but and we kind of limited Adams in the first half. He got a few more catches in the second half, but and in all honesty, before the Raiders' last touchdown, Adams caught a pass that put the ball at like the 2-yard line. The defensive plan on that was the right plan. Like, they had somebody for over the top and outside leverage, and they had somebody for inside leverage. And I think it was maybe Rudy Ford. I'm not 100% sure, but whoever had the inside leverage tried to jump. They attempted to jump the route, and they jumped in the wrong spot. And had they been disciplined and maintained their assignment, known their assignment properly, they could have jumped the pass, and it would have most likely either been incomplete, or if he would have caught it, for an interception, it would have been a pick six. So it's frustrating to see the defense be in the perfect call and have the chance to make a game-changing play. Because I mean, that takes 7 points off the board for the Raiders. That makes it a 13-10 game. Or if it's a pick six, that makes it a 20-10 game. So I mean, that's a huge difference in the game. But there were several plays where I saw a linebacker covering Devontae Adams. I mean, there's several plays where Preston Smith was covering him. Like that should not be happening. To have 11 days to prepare for this game, prepare for Adams, um, it just things didn't look good. And as I mentioned, there's 8 first round picks that play for our defense. Not necessarily all at one time, but 8 first rounders that play for our defense, and our defense is not that good. I mean, that's very, very disheartening for me, um, to have that many first rounders and not see them making a difference in every, on a week to week basis. Um, yeah, you see Kenny Clark make a play every now and then. You see Rashawn Gary make a play every now and then. You see Jair Alexander make plays, but you think about how Dallas's defense played against bad teams. The Giants, the Jets, the Patriots, and everybody's making plays. Not just their top people, but everybody. Look at San Francisco's defense in their games. Everybody's making plays, and for the amount of talent we have on defense, there's so few plays that are really made by these players, and it's frustrating because we spend a lot of first round picks on defense. I mean, like 12 of our last 13, or I forget the number, but Jordan Love is the only first round offensive player we've taken in like the last 14 or 15 drafts. It's all been defense. So it it bothers me that the defense has not been better in all the past decade than what it has been with all the talent that's been put on the defense, the top talent. Um, and obviously, I mean, Joe Barry, he did not have a good track record as a defensive coordinator before he came to Green Bay. The 2 times, I believe it was 2 times, and he was a defensive coordinator for the Redskins while they were still called the Redskins. Obviously, they're the Commanders now, and then for the Lions a couple years, and they were bottom of the league both of those time both. I think I don't know how many years at either team, but while he was there for both teams, they were always in the bottom few teams in the league on defense, and he's not been good in Green Bay. So I definitely think he has to go. Again, I'm not ready to move off LaFleur. I still think he's a good coach. I think he's not. I don't think he's a good play caller. I think during this bye week, they really need to figure out how they want to call plays going forward because there's no rhythm to the offense. And without that, with a young quarterback, with young receivers, with offensive line injuries, you've got to get a rhythm going, whether it be dinking and dunking and taking short passes and constant checkdowns until something opens up down the field, whether it be throwing in more screen passes, whether it be running back or wide receiver or tight end screens, whatever. Um, take what the defense is giving you. Get some rhythm, get some completions, get your quarterback feeling good by getting him involved early and getting some passes and moving the ball. Um, Green Bay's offense has just been so inconsistent. And there's been no rhythm, uh, and like I get it. Well, I mean, Love has started 6 games in his career. I get it. It's going to be a little bit of a slow start, and we have time to improve. I'm not ready to move off Jordan Love yet. Um, I don't necessarily think he's the future, but I'm not going to sit here and say bench him because somebody else can do better because I don't think anybody can do better. I mean, outside of elite quarterbacks in the league, I don't think you can get somebody else that can play better at this point. I think he still needs time to develop. He needs the playing time, but I, at this point, I can't say he's the future. I can't say he's going to be the franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, 15 years, like Rodgers and Favre were. We just need more consistent play calling, rhythm on offense, and that's going to come from the play calling, whether, you know, whatever you got to do. And I'd said Dallas doesn't do a lot of motions and they just line up and play. Like Green Bay does a lot of motions. Like there's like somebody motion almost every play, but it's like why? Like what's the point in these motions? Because it's not doing us any good. Um, so there's definitely some issues on both sides of the ball. I can say that. Um, Special team wise, I don't think we have really any issues at the time, but play calling on offense and the defense coordinator is and the defensive scheme, like we got some work to do. So it's frustrating. It is because we can definitely be better. Now, all that being said, obviously Thursday night football is the Chiefs and the Broncos. Obviously, the Broncos haven't beat the Chiefs in a long, long time. I think it's a double-digit win streak for the Chiefs, and I don't see that changing this week. Sean Payton has been doing a terrible job. Russell Wilson has been doing a terrible job, and in all honesty, I could really see Russell Wilson getting benched after this short week. If they play bad, they lose, get murdered, whatever. I could see Jared Stidham being the starter. I believe he's the backup after this week. So we don't know if Travis Kelsey's going to play or not. He's deemed questionable with a low ankle sprain, is what they've said. He did come back in the game, but Chiefs defense is pretty solid. Denver's defense has not been good. I'm taking the Chiefs 100%. I locked in on that. That'll be my first pick for Week 6. Um, so college football, we had some shakeups on some rankings with last week's games, and it was all mainly centered around Texas getting beat by Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Had a had a game that'll probably be talked about for a while. Had some wild plays on defense, wild plays in special teams early, but ultimately Texas scored to take the lead with minute 15 or so left on the clock, and I mean not Alabama, Oklahoma was able to just march it down the field with, I mean, seemingly in like 30 seconds and get down in the red zone and scored with 20 25 seconds left. I mean, less than a minute they went down and scored. It was ridiculous. And obviously Texas got the ball back, didn't do anything. For the most part, it was a fairly entertaining game to watch. Not a whole lot of offense in the first half, but the offenses got going in the second half. But Texas went from being third all the way down to 9. And USC dropped one spot to a 10, even though they won this week. I don't know. I don't remember who they played or how they played, and it may be one of the things with they may have not played. I don't know. Uh, Shows them playing after having played 6 games, so I assume they had a game. But they dropped because Oklahoma went from 12 to number 5. That was the biggest change, and Texas didn't fall below them, so I just bumped them down one spot. Oregon stayed the same. Washington, Penn State, they didn't play this week. They're all at 5 games. And I say that they may have played. I don't know who's playing and who's not playing every week. But Oklahoma jumped up 7 spots. Florida State moved up 1 with Texas losing. Ohio State moved up 1 with Texas losing. So seems like Texas's chance of making the college football playoffs are extremely, extremely far fetched at this point. They would have to, I think, win out and then match up with Oklahoma again in the Big 12 championship. And if that's the case, they may could win and propel themselves at the end. But ultimately, I think Oklahoma is the better team and they have the control of it. So I think they'll end up holding on to that. I don't really know what good games are coming up this week for college football. I'm trying to see if I can get a top 25 schedule. It does not look like I have that on my computer. Let me go to scores. Sorry about the delay. Yeah, top 25. So this week we got Georgia Vanderbilt. Not, I mean, Georgia's ranked, Vanderbilt's not. Michigan, Indiana, Ohio State, Purdue, Florida State, Syracuse, Alabama, Arkansas, Utah, and California. Blah blah blah. Ooh, we got a number 7 and number 8 playing each other. Oregon number 8 playing Washington number 7. That'll be on the road in Washington. They are favored by 3. That should be a good game. And outside of that, it does not appear we have. Oh, USC is playing Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost this week, their second loss. Still ranked in the top 25 after 2 losses. Um, and one of those, I believe, was to an unranked Louisville team. So, and I mentioned to a buddy, like, okay, Louisville's number 14. They might have been ranked before. So I'll take that back. But Notre Dame seems to get extra consideration and get more leniency because they're not in a conference, and because most teams with 2 losses at this point are not going to be ranked 21. I mean, LSU is, so it's hard to say that that they're not. But most of the time, you lose 2 games in the first 5 weeks of the season, you should not be in the top 25. So hopefully USC just goes ahead and beats Notre Dame and knocks them out. Because I don't like seeing them ranked unless they're actually good, but rarely are they that good because when they have made the championship game or the playoffs, they've just gotten slaughtered, and I just hate seeing them up there all the time. We have Miami, North Carolina. That's also another 2 ranked teams playing. Also, UCLA and Oregon State, 18 and 15, respectively. So we got a few decent college football matchups with the top 25 this week, and already talked about Thursday night football. Looking at the NFL, I mean trade deadline's coming up, so could be seeing some trades before the trade deadline. Headlines: Falcons trade for Rams wide receiver Jefferson. Um, It looks like Justin Jefferson, who I picked for Offensive Player of the Year, hamstring. He's on IR. He's gonna miss the next 4 games. That's gonna mean Minnesota probably loses those 4 games, or at least the majority of them. We'll pull their schedule up in a second. Uh, let's see. Finn's rookie running back A-Chain to miss out multiple weeks with a knee injury. Jets looking for options for wide receiver Hardman. He was a free agency pickup. Uh, Arizona running back Connor is out multiple weeks. And also, of course, Jerry Jones still believes Cowboys and Dak are Super Bowl caliber. Um, after that Sunday night performance, can't say that they are. Can't say that I think that they are. Um, but that's typical Jerry Jones. He's going to be in the media. He's going to say something. It's what he does. It's no surprise. But let me pull up week 6 here in the NFL and see. Let me pull the Vikings schedule with Justin Jefferson's injury. So the Vikings play the Bears this week. A little bit of team on a little bit of a hot streak. They may be able to beat the Bears without Justin Jefferson. I think they have the offense to beat them. Then they play the 49ers, which I don't think they can beat even with Jefferson. Then they play the Packers. At this point, I think they're capable of beating the Packers. But hopefully Green Bay has their shit together by then. And then after that, it's the Falcons. They might be able to beat the Falcons without Jefferson. So they may go 2-2 without Jefferson. Two, maybe even 3-1. I don't. The main thing is I don't think they can beat the 49ers. Period. So that could, that could matter. I mean, they're still looking at being, you know, 2-5, 7 weeks into the year. Um, I'll jump on something I'd said yesterday about Dallas. So I said their next three games are really important because they play the Chargers, have a bye week, and then the Rams and the Eagles. So Dallas is sitting at 3-2. If they go 1-2 in those games, that'll put them at 4-4 at roughly the halfway mark. Then they play the Giants, Panthers, Commanders. That's three winnable games, and then they have a brutal 5-week schedule of the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Lions. So I mean, if you're wanting to try to get that top wild card spot, or if you're trying to win the division, that stretch is gonna be brutal. So you need to take advantage of everything up until that point, and that includes winning 2 out of the next 3 games against Chargers, Rams, Eagles. And if you're going to lose one of those, the Chargers is the least impactful loss. Rams is a playoff team at this point. Eagles are a playoff team, and they're in the division. So you're looking at division implications with the Eagles, and you're looking at wild card implications with the Rams of being whether you're the 5 seed, 6 seed, or 7 seed. And same thing with the Seahawks later in the season, because if you end up with that bottom seed, you're going on the road to probably Philadelphia week 1 in the playoffs, or San Francisco, depending on who gets the 1 seed. And if you happen to get lucky and win, you're on the road against the other one the next week. So, not where you want to be sitting if you're a Dallas fan, not where you want to be sitting with, if that's if you're a Cowboys player, that's not where you want your team to be. So, I know I kind of rambled here, kind of bashed my team a little bit, just major frustrations with Green Bay. Uh, First year without, I mean, it's first year without Hall of Fame quarterback in 30 years. It's easy to be frustrated when you've had that level of success and that level of talent for as long as we've had. Um, like I said, I'm not done with Jordan Love yet. I'm not done with Matt LaFleur. I think they need some work. They need to figure some things out. I am absolutely done with Joe Barry. Been done with him, but uh, we got a bye week this week, playing Denver, coming out of the bye on the road, a game that I may try to sneak up to, try to attend. But in the meantime, I hope they take advantage of the bye week, get a few players healthy, and really sit down and figure out what the hell they're going to do going forward, because some things have to change. Um, and let me pull up Green Bay's schedule um, over the next several weeks, because so we play the Broncos, that's a winnable game. Then we play the Vikings without Justin Jefferson, that's should be a winnable game. Play the Rams, that'll be tough. Play the Steelers, that'll be tough. Chargers, tough. Lions, tough. Chiefs, very tough. So we have a 4, 5 game stretch there of really rough games. Then we got the Giants, which are winnable. Buccaneers, winnable. Panthers, winnable. Vikings again, Bears to end the season. So if we want to try to have a winning record, uh, and even have any chance of being talked about in the wild card positions, we got to figure something out in this bye week, and we got to do it very quickly. So, all that being said, I'm gonna hop off here. I'll be back sometime this weekend with more NFL picks. I am picking the Chiefs Thursday night. I've said that multiple times, but um, hope y'all enjoy some football Thursday night, Saturday, college football, and we'll be back before NFL football Sunday.